So imagine spending years building a brand from the ground up, pouring in endless hours, only to face setbacks that could wipe out millions of dollars in sales. That's exactly what happened to us at Rinke, a brand myself and a co-founder built up to a $60 million a year business selling cell phone cases online. We've worked day and night, not just to grow our brand, but to get every piece of this product launch right away. For this particular launch, we focus on getting everything lined up, to take over the market, to rank first page, to make sure that we show up on the first page and the top. And we put in a lot of research, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of our team members' effort into it as well. And of course, preparation with pre-launch and using a lot of the pre-launch strategy with influencer marketing, getting hyped up for this launch, getting traffic into our listing. Everything we've learned over the years of business built into this one iPhone case launch. We've worked pretty much, day and night, perfecting everything from the mold to the material. So our case was ready to hit the market when, the announcement was made. So timing was very critical, especially when it comes to a new phone launch. You want to have everything ready before they actually announce the phone. And we were prepared. We ranked our listing on Amazon first page. It was ranked number 1 at the top. Man, this one launch could easily bring in millions of dollars in sales every single year. And on the first few months, it's going to be $600,000 to $700,000 in potential revenue. And then the worst thing happened. We get this one notification. It all collapsed. Our Amazon listing was deactivated over a trademark claim. Just like that. The foundation of all of our hard work, the product launch, everything we've invested our time, our resource, everything we focused into was shut down. I remember staying at the screen feeling like the weight of all this frustration, this anger, this disbelief. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you put in so much work and now you're just angry because it's like, you can't believe this happened. This single listing wasn't just a product for us. It was an entire strategy and a huge investment of time and money. Thousands of units of stock was made. We worked relentlessly to get this product to rank. And we're fighting off other competitors as well to generate, awareness, to generate position, to generate excitement, and to build up this momentum. And suddenly the entire plan had to be put on hold. It's hard to explain the feeling. Imagine pouring everything into a vision, watching it inch closer and closer to reality, and then seeing it get ripped away with a single notification, a single little icon at the top right corner. If you're an Amazon seller, you know what I'm talking about. Those performance notifications, those annoying performance notifications. We stood to lose over $1 million in projected sales from this one listing alone. And beyond the revenue, we felt the ripple effect across the entire business, the potential loss, trust with our customer, the impact on our team, the possible blow up of our brand. I mean, it was tough. Our entire launch strategy, months of prep work, every ounce of energy we invested into this, gone. That day was a turning point, and I knew we couldn't just dwell on the loss. It was painful. It was a painful reminder that setback can happen anytime, no matter how prepared you think you are. But while setback is inevitable, they don't define us. They don't define me, and it won't define you either. It's how we respond that truly matters. Today, I'm going to share the practical lesson, one I wish I had known sooner. And if you're a new founder, these insights could be difference between a minor setback and a major loss. Now, before I get into some of the practical insight, I want to share a little bit about what happened. Okay, so we ended up getting into this stupid, ridiculous lawsuit against this company called Love It LLC. And it's a while back, it's a long time ago. So this is just a teaching moment, honestly. I'm not sending a negative vibe or wishing them like they should die. I'm not saying that, but I'm not wishing that the business go under. No. The trademark that was claimed against us was the silliest, dumbest thing I could ever imagine. So the word that we were infringing on was the word crystal clear. And somehow USPTO, the US government patent trade office, trademark and patent office, had approved this company, Lovett LLC, to take claim to this trademark that was in process for like 2-3 years. So they were trying to get this trademark through. And for us, unbeknownst as new sellers, new founders, new business owners, we were just selling our case. We had a crystal clear case, so we just call it crystal clear. It's a fairly generic description of a clear product. So you would think crystal clear was something that nobody would trademark, or if the trademark was hard to defend. And so the claim against us went through Amazon. So the company has a trademark for it. So Amazon shut down our listing when we have everything prepped. I mean, we were stocked and ready to go. We have 20 to 30,000 units, another maybe 20, 30,000 units on the way. Multiple variations, 6-7 variation, different products. And it was tough when the listing gets shut down, because this thing could have been generating us $600-700K a month. Because when the iPhone launched back during the first few, second and third iPhone launch, it was a frenzy. People were waiting in line at the T-Mobile store, Verizon store, AT&T store, just to get a pre-order in. And you can't pre-order online either, because it was sold out like in less than an hour. And so when a person buy an iPhone, they went and bought a case right away, because they know it's coming. They need everything ready to protect this $1,000 device that they're spending on. Maybe it wasn't $1,000, it was probably $800. It was still a lot during that time. And for us, we had gotten the blueprint early on. We worked really hard to work with insiders to get the blueprint so we can get the molding ready. So it was a very make it or break it type of situation. If you don't rank the first page on the initial launch, you lose a lot of momentum, and you don't get the foot traffic that's needed and the review that's needed to start ranking up again. It's really hard to fight back up, and it is hard. So we try to get on the first page right when it's launch week. And so we got this claim. Next thing you know, we got a lawsuit. We countersue. We hired lawyers. The lawyers, I think we went through Cooper Anderson. I totally forgot the company's name. It was one of the big national legal firm that handle IP litigation. And long story short, we were paying a lot of money. I mean, I think it was like $20,000-30,000 a month, just going back and forth, doing deposition, doing research. And I was like 3 months in, I'm like, man, we're burning a lot of money here. Everybody's freaking out, everybody's down, getting hit with losses, because we're not generating the sales we're supposed to, because this new launch was supposed to shoot us up again. Like, we're supposed to be plowing through to another great year of awesome sales. Everybody put in all this work, and now we're down again. And I'm stressing out because we're burning so much money. My co-founder, he's like, I don't know what to do. We're freaking out to figure this out. I don't know how to solve this problem. Life is over. Life is over. That's what he was thinking, or everybody else around me was thinking. It was chaos. And it is stressful, because who likes dealing with lawsuits? Because nobody really wins at the end. The lawyers win. So both sides are going back and forth through emails, through texts. We're not really communicating directly to the company's owner. And of course, there's always an owner behind this whole thing. And I don't want to bring him up, but he took advantage of the system and knew how to take advantage of trademark with new sellers who are not aware of intellectual property protection. So if you are new at this, make sure you get somebody to trademark your brand and monitor it. But long story short, I ended up getting so frustrated, because over several months of no resolution, stress, sleepless nights, I was like, man, I need to call this guy to settle it right now, because if not, we're just going to keep burning money. And by the end of the year, we'll be in deep $500,000. And of course, the settlement was like, I want 5 years of royalties for using the crystal clear name. And I was like, no, we're not paying that. We're going to take you to the ground. Like, we all going to burn together if you decide to make me pay you royalty. So I called the guy up. I was like, either we negotiate a settlement that's reasonable, or I'm taking you all the way down. We all going to go down together. and both sides, nobody's doing this pro bono. Lawyers not doing this for free. This is a IP litigation with companies that are doing like 15 to 16 million dollars a year. So there's money in the bank that they're, we got money loaded to fire each other until somebody dies. And fighting this is going to be challenging because proving that, his mark is used first or my product is used first requires a lot of investigation, could take months. And so I was able to convince him the reality is that it doesn't make sense. Let's secure a settlement. And so at the end, I end up securing a settlement around, I think it was like $300,000. I paid him off over 12-month period settlement so that, we clear this out and no longer have this trademark infringement. For me, that's a cost of doing business. And so I believe that was the right decision because I'd rather focus on growing the business and generating more sales than thinking about $300K that I just lost, because I use that $300K as a write-off for future profits. And that's how, after, struggling with that decision, that was probably the best decision that I concluded. And here I want to transition into the first lesson we've learned, and one of the most valuable is that putting all the revenues egg in one basket can leave your business vulnerable. And we found that the hard way because all of our sales was on the Amazon. The majority of our sales was on Amazon. So building a business doesn't mean getting one sales channel, right? It means preparing when channels get disrupted. So Amazon got disrupted. So we rely so heavily on Amazon that when things like this happen, we freak out. So now the most important lesson here is make sure you're jumping into other marketing channels, other marketplaces. Start expanding into other marketplaces early on. One or two, you don't have to do many of them. Walmart.com, Etsy, Shopify. I always recommend doing Shopify to be more independent. And they got this new TikTok shop that's blowing up. So keep yourself resilient against disruption by not having just one single channel, but start diversifying so you're not only spreading out your risk, but also capturing customers across multiple shopping platforms. Now, once we recognized the danger of relying on a single platform, we took another hard look at our brand's vulnerabilities, and one of the biggest was legal protection. I'm gonna be honest, as a new founder, it can be tempting to hold off on hiring a legal team. It costs money. I mean, I was doing $16 million a year and I was holding off on a legal team. Come on, that was the stupidest thing I could have done. But this was one of the biggest lessons we've learned the hard way. When our listing got deactivated due to trademark claim, we realized we hadn't been actively monitoring for potential trademark conflict. But our legal team, we were unprotected. And once you hire a specific lawyer, you don't need a team. You can just hire a company, and they'll have a lawyer in there that will constantly monitor your trademark for you. Just make sure that nobody's infringing on it or you're infringing on somebody else's trademark. And every time that you have a new product launch and you're using a specific keywords for your product that's associated with your product, go trademark or have your lawyers go look it up to make sure it's not in conflict with another company. And this happened to me in the past. There was a brand that had a keyword that we associated with the product, but it was trademarked by a big cosmetic company. And this company was like $300 to $400 million in revenue. I'm talking, I think it was massive. They sent us a cease and desist letter to stop using that word. And, the right choice was just to give it up. If we didn't, we go into a lawsuit, and guess what? We will probably lose because our pocket is not as deep as that $400 million beauty brand. Now, if you can't afford it, hire a legal team early on. Even just getting consultation with them help you avoid costly mistake down the road. And just make sure you're constantly monitoring your trademark. Set up alerts, work with your legal person, your lawyers, to protect any unique terms of brand element you use. The sooner you secure this protection, the fewer costly surprise you'll encounter later on. Legal support was crucial, but another big lesson we learned was not to cut corners on essential services. When you're a new founder, you might want to save money wherever possible, but some things are worth investing in. So don't go cheap. All right? Don't avoid getting a lawyer because you're trying to save money. When you're starting out, hire the right people, hire the people that has experience, hire the people that know how to play in this field, like legal protection, brand management. Don't cut corners on those things. The money you save in the short term can end up costing you a lot more in the long term. So make sure you're prioritizing your budget for key professional services to protect your business. Trying to handle the complex area like accounting or intellectual property without expertise can create problems. Like, I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax expert. So don't go do it on your own. Go hire somebody to do your taxes. Hire a professional to do it for you. You don't want to come back later and get hit with a tax bill. I got a friend. I don't know who advice he was taking. He was making tons of money in crypto. And next thing you know, he owed $600,000 in taxes. Nobody advised him to go pay his taxes. He was gonna roll in to make more money, and next thing you know, the market crashed, and so now he's owed like $600,000 in taxes. It's kind of hard when you lose all your money and still owe $600,000 to $700,000 in taxes. So focus on hiring professionals in the right areas to help you make better decisions, and also watch over your business and also do things the right way so that you don't have costly mistakes later on when you come back. With that experience under our belt, we faced trademark dispute head on. But here's something we didn't expect. Sometimes handling things yourself can actually save you time and money. So when that trademark claim hit us, our first instinct was to let the lawyers handle it. I get it. I was gonna let them handle it. But man, every call, every email, every text, every response costs money. And it started adding up pretty quick. So I decided to I got frustrated, so I started taking it into my own hands. I decided that I gotta do something about it. So I just went with my gut and I just called the party directly. And honestly, that's not highly recommended, and they told me not to do that, but I went and I did it anyway because I was like, we need to figure this out, because at the end of the day, the longer you prolong legal battle, the more costly it will be. It's just gonna keep escalating unless you have logical, reasonable conversation. That's it. While having legal representative is essential, you just gotta have that direct conversation sometime, okay? And through it all, one of the most important lessons we've learned was to not let setback defeat us. Don't let setback defeat you either. Instead, I saw each setback as a lesson and an opportunity to get better. This challenge wasn't easy, but it taught us to build resilience and rethink our approach to challenges and obstacles. Every setback forced us to refine our process, and ultimately these challenges became the foundation for the future success of our business. So every time you face a challenge, ask yourself this: what process or system can you improve to prevent this in the future? Mindset will turn your setback into a learning experience that push your business forward, making it stronger and more prepared for future growth. After facing so many challenges, there are one main takeaway that stands out above all. Resilience is always everything. Resilience is everything. Just remember that. If there's one thing I've learned from almost losing like $1 million plus in sales, is that the path of entrepreneurship is in a straight line. Every founder will face setback. Just accept that. It's inevitable, man. This is the game of business. You're gonna face challenges, obstacles, setback. But with the right system, support, and mindset, those setbacks don't have to define your journey. If you found these insights valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment below on what you'd like to see next. Let's keep learning and growing together. See you in the next video.